Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Very well, very well. As well as can be in this current circumstance.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So, look, what I'll probably do first is I will do a short introduction for
Okay.
myself in 920, and obviously highlight why we're doing these vlogs.
Sure.
My name is Chris Lowden. I am the commercial director of 920 Recruitment. We're a boutique recruiter based in the city centre of Glasgow. We operate across the whole of the UK for the technology and digital, as well as the engineering and manufacturing sectors. I'm currently doing, over the next few weeks, a series of vlog interviews with people like yourself, Linda, to obviously highlight the positives, but also talk in-depthly about business continuity. So, Linda, tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, so along with my husband Andy, we run Indigo Black. Effectively, we help businesses solve their HR challenges and develop their teams. We've both got kind of 30 years plus experience in a variety of industries at senior management and senior leadership levels. So from that perspective, we've kind of turned all of that experience in to give something back. And effectively, we operate as an HR partner for businesses who may not require their own HR partner, but we support them remotely and in good times face-to-face as well, and really become a part of their team. So that's who we are.
Great, great. And I suppose today we're going to focus on business continuity, but also the people in HR effects that's happened to us over the last few weeks. And look, straight away, what I would say is we obviously, 920, speak with personal experience from using yourself. And you've been fantastic with us over the last 12 months. So thank you. Without further ado, I suppose what I would probably go into is, obviously over the last 2 weeks, there's probably been a lot of unprecedented stuff. Even someone with your experience, as you've already highlighted, over 30 years experience, Linda, how have you been dealing with employers during this period? How have you found the last 2 weeks?
It's been probably one of the busiest 2 weeks in my whole career, because it's been kind of early mornings till late nights and then coming home in the evening to try and interpret the daily updates from the government, and then kind of answering questions the following day to a variety of industries, and each industry is different. You know, we've got a number of clients from kind of limited companies, we've got sole traders, we've got larger organisations, we've got individual employees phoning us asking questions and kind of querying, really just to give them reassurance and to give them some of the answers so that they can take the next step in the kind of journey to finding out what they need to do. So from that perspective, it's been extraordinarily busy, but as you say, quite unprecedented. So like everyone else, we've been kind of waiting on a lot of the daily updates and then just kind of taking each day as it comes.
Yeah, I suppose it's one of those where you hear different terminologies now that I haven't heard of before. I'm sure there's not just, not just employees, but employers are sort of navigating through this mindset at the moment of new terms like furlough, for example.
Like furlough,
I mean, I didn't even know what that was yesterday.
No, exactly. I mean, furlough, it's an American word, I believe, and it's effectively used in times of layoff. So effectively, when there is no work to be done in this particular kind of set of circumstances, that word has crept in. Interestingly, last night, the detail behind the kind of furlough and the coronavirus job retention scheme has now been published. So for anyone who's been waiting for that, that's now available on gov.uk. But I guess for each individual, depending on their own circumstances. So for example, you know, if an employee works for someone under pay as you earn, then really it's for the employer to decide if that business is going to be furloughed. And what that effectively means is that there is no work for the individuals, group employees, to do at that point, and therefore they would go into that furlough category and receive 80% of their salary at this point, which the government will provide for the employer until this situation is resolved. But to be honest, there are so many different categories and definitions that each individual is different. It would be impossible of me in this short call today to kind of give you an explanation of all. The only thing I could say is that, you know, by all means, talk to somebody like ourselves, talk to your accountant, depending on your circumstances, or refer to gov.uk, because that's got some fantastic information, lots of it, I have to say, and sometimes the task in itself is deciphering which bits of it apply to you and don't.
Relevant, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What we could possibly do is after this, when we post this video later on this afternoon, is maybe there could be a few choice links that maybe we could put up.
Of course, yeah, absolutely, yeah, of course.
Okay, so I suppose moving on, what have you implemented in terms of the business continuity so far for your client?
Yeah.
What have you been dealing with most and helped implement over the last couple of weeks?
Okay, so I guess first of all, as I said at the outset, our offer and how we work with clients is quite flexible and adaptable. So not only do we do face-to-face, but we also do online and telephone support. So that transition has been relatively easy for our clients to manage, if you like, and work with. The types of things we've been dealing with, everything from trying to help individuals or business owners interpret some of the information. And we've done that, you know, as I say, you know, pretty much through Zoom calls like this, through telephone support, through literally being at the end of the phone and trying to provide that element of reassurance, advice and support that is as up to date as possible.
Right.
And also to try, in some instances, to help individual business owners have less, so maybe broadening out a little bit from the pure HR piece to actually help business owners have less reliance on being in the office, you know, help and guide and direct them and kind of navigate them towards ways in which they can feel that they can still manage their business and still have that continuity piece by having ongoing communication with people like ourselves and any other kind of support services that they need.
Yeah, and I suppose, as you said at the beginning of the call as well, Linda, it's probably very different for every different sector and every business you deal with. So, because I suppose a lot of 920's clients in the technology and digital space, a lot of them will still be able to function in the sense. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, because of the remote working angle. And something I said with in the previous interview with Lee is that maybe this is hopefully forcing people to adopt more working from home techniques.
Yeah.
So, I suppose going forward, and one of the things I'm trying to highlight, you've obviously been incredibly busy, which sounds like a positive. Has there been any other sort of positives for your business over the last couple of weeks?
I think from our point of view, we've offered free telephone HR advice to anyone who's in a difficult situation. So already we're beginning to work with individuals who we previously didn't come into contact with. So that in itself is a positive. I think we've very quickly decided to use the time well. So we are focusing on everything and reflecting on our processes, our business plan, and trying to look proactively at our marketing and how we might do things differently when we kind of come out the other side of this, so to speak. So I think from that point of view, that's been quite a quick success for us because we decided that, you know, we can't change the situation. So therefore, we've got to kind of focus on the plan for the future. So we're taking the opportunity to do that now. I think on a wider scale, a lot of other businesses also have the opportunity to do that. They've got the opportunity to identify and address maybe gaps in their processes. So for some of them who found some of this situation quite difficult because maybe they don't have contracts in place from a people point of view, or they know that there are gaps that they ought to have addressed a while ago. So we know that time is precious, and therefore we tend not to do some of the things that don't feel as high up the priority list. But I think now's the time for businesses to take the opportunity when there is a little bit of downtime to do that, to fix some of those problems or gaps and address them now. But equally, I think lastly, I'd say from a people performance point of view, I think businesses with teams, this is a great time to just think, how did my team respond? How did they cope being flexible, agile? How did they cope with decision making? How did they cope with quick thinking? All of those things, I think, looking at a kind of performance angle on it as a business owner, I think it's a good time to just reflect on who was there and who really kind of was behind the business, and who understood the bigger picture, versus the individuals that perhaps didn't, and that then helps identify some strengths and opportunities going forward.
That's great. No, I totally agree. I think what's been overwhelming to me as a director in a business is that our staff have been fantastic and have really rallied around and used all the tools that people are using, like Zoom, like Google Hangouts, and it's fantastic. People messaging back and forth. It feels like that unity piece, and look. Yeah, it's great. It's great, and we've also been, the healthy body, healthy mind piece. We've been training every day at 3 o'clock.
I heard that. Yes, indeed. I saw little snippets of video too. Believe it or not. Yeah.
I did not look great.
Say no more. Yeah.
But yourself, you had said to me earlier, you're doing.
I'm doing Zumba. Yeah, I've been Zumba every day, and we live in Troon, so Andrew and I have been walking on the beach every day. We've got the garage set up with the running machine, so yeah, we're doing our bit. Absolutely.
Fantastic. So look, I suppose what else should business owners be doing now in your head? What they're doing now and thinking about in terms of their teams and their HR setup?
Okay, so I think one of the key things, businesses ultimately succeed because of their people. And I think it's too easy particularly if businesses have had to close down, I think it's too easy to kind of get caught up in all of the daily news and the daily bulletins, and before you know it, the days pass. As a business owner, as a team leader, as a kind of leadership mentor, if you like, I think it's key that communication remains open. People want to feel encouraged, they want to feel supported, and that might not be financially. That might be just by having somebody at the end of the phone, taking the positives, like as you've suggested, the exercise piece. I understand House Party is a great app for kind of bringing people together, and there's kind of fun things that people can do whilst they're not necessarily in the workplace. So I think that's important. I do think prior to all of this kicking off, mental health in the workplace was a very big topic and a big challenge for a number of people. And I think it's important to remember that support is key at this point, because not everyone's home circumstances are the same. People are perhaps living with vulnerable individuals. They can't get out at all. They are self-isolating and may not even be able to get out for groceries. So it's touching base with your team and kind of knowing what their needs are and how you can best support that. Even if it is, as I say, from a mental health challenge point of view, and maybe just being at the end of the phone and being that one person that they talk to, rather than hearing it through an email or through some other kind of app. I think it's just keeping that human piece in place. And as I said previously, it's just really reflecting just now on the proactive element and the proactive focus of when we're back in the workplace, what's going to look different? What can we change? What can we change for the better? And really taking the positives out of this.
Yeah, no, and look, that's the whole point behind why we're doing these vlog interviews, Linda. It's the positive aspects, and I think it's so true in terms of the social and mental health of your employees as well. I think I don't want to go over the same ground again, but honestly, Google Hangouts and Zoom and pieces like that have been fantastic for us over the last 2 weeks.
Brilliant. That's great.
It's that continuity of people being able to still keep in social contact with each other, but through social distancing. It's great.
I do see different examples though, Chris. That's where it's quite interesting, because you guys have really kind of set a high bar in that regard right from the off, and you were working from home before many others were, which is to be applauded. But I think I do see different examples of that, and I see different business owners and business directors who are reluctant to let people work from home, and who have trust issues about people not necessarily being there and being able to be supervised, so to speak. I think those are some of the challenges that we've come up with in the last few weeks, is just trying to influence and support those business owners and directors to think differently, because actually in these circumstances they don't have a choice, and it's looking at what positive changes can I make so that I do get the output, but at the same time I'm looking after my team. It's a good point. It's different, because even my brother, who is
relatively senior in the Glasgow City Council. He's working from home, but they're doing daily wrap-ups, and this is the council. I don't mean that offensively, but it's they're doing daily end-of-day wrap-ups. What have you achieved today? I think that's fantastic. I think it is. It's great because it's stuff we don't do in the office generally.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these things we really want to capture them now and not lose sight of them, because when we do go back to normal life, we want to retain a lot of these things because I think they have made a difference.
Okay, no, 100%, 100%. Well, look, is there any other points you wish to raise at all? Or?
No, I think really just kind of, keep in touch with your team, really use the opportunity if you're a business owner to sort your processes and the kind of gaps in your HR piece now. And if you're an individual and you're worried about your job or your work, talk to your boss, talk to your employer, and try and understand what the position is if they've left you kind of not really knowing. Talk to them or talk to, as I said already, somebody like ourselves, or refer to some of the government documents, because, there is help out there, and for sure there is. Bear in mind that they might need a little bit of patience because they're working on it day by day and it's changing, very quickly. So be patient, but talk to somebody. Don't worry on your own.
100%. And look, I thought your post on LinkedIn the other day, Linda, about offering free advice to anyone out there, that was great, and it's great to see. And I suppose it's you're seeing a lot of people out there really pulling together. It's brilliant to see.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
So look, what we can do is I'll make sure when we post this later that we provide people with your details. Any questions people have, please feel free to comment or message us directly. But thank you very much for your time today.
No, thank you for asking me to come along. Take care. I'll speak to you soon.
All right. See you then.
Thanks then. Bye-bye.
Bye.